The interesting thing about shortage of water and dealing with the shortage of water is that one can recycle lots of the water that you're already using. So things like the wastewater recycling, which always in the past was considered very expensive. Now, after Singapore and Orange County have led the way, people are now thinking and actually doing recycling the wastewater directly into the drinking water supply. The first case in the United States was in Orange County, just outside Los Angeles. It's a large suburban community, about 2 or 3 million people being supplied with water. And there was a cutback in the supply from Northern California, and so they were forced with either reducing their water use or getting new water from somewhere else. So they actually chose to recycle their wastewater directly into the groundwater supply, and they were being forced to go up to secondary, tertiary treatment by the Environmental Protection Agency because of the issues of contamination of the coastal aquifers in the coastal regions of Southern California. So the EPA was pushing them towards tertiary treatment, and they decided that if they're going to do tertiary treatment, why didn't they go the next step and go to desalination? They chose to use reverse osmosis and ultraviolet disinfection as the last two stages after tertiary treatment. So they do membrane filtration, reverse osmosis, and then they disinfect it finally with ultraviolet rays. The advantage of doing that is you get rid of everything. And the interesting thing that has happened since they decided to do this is that the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is coming out with a new set of regulations for drinking water. So right now we're regulating 86 contaminants in the drinking water. The new list will add 116 contaminants to those, and they're mostly the pharmaceuticals, the endocrine disruptors, and all sort of industrial chemicals which are showing up in our drinking water. So in the United States, some recent studies indicate that maybe 46 million people are exposed to trace amounts of pharmaceuticals and other chemicals in their drinking water. So the citizens are very nervous about this. We don't know what the actual toxicological studies are. We haven't done them yet, but the precautionary principle would indicate you try and avoid them as at all possible. The best way of doing it is to do reverse osmosis, and it's actually cheaper for Orange County to use reverse osmosis than to buy additional water from Northern California. Reverse osmosis is an interesting and complicated chemical set of reactions, but are best explained by the fact that you're going to filter out impurities from water by putting pressure on the water and driving it through a membrane. So the membranes are very fine membranes, and you take the water with the salts and the chemicals in, you put it under pressure and press it through this membrane, and the pure water comes out, and the impurities stay on one side of the barrier and have to be flushed away. That's brine and the contaminants. It's interesting that it used to be very expensive. It used to cost $5 a cubic meter to produce water, which is very expensive. Now the current cost is around about 50 cents a cubic meter, and 50 cents a cubic meter is actually cheaper than most places in the world if you were going to get new water supply. So even though it's an advanced country application, Singapore, United States, Australia, and places like that, but it's actually in most places in the world where you need a new water supply, it's going to cost you more than 50 cents a cubic meter to get it. So you may as well recycle your wastewater because you're getting much better control, you have much better quality water. So, for instance, in Singapore, what they call new water, which is their recycled wastewater, the industries are very eager to get it because they don't have to treat the water anymore. So the recycled water is cleaner than the other municipal water. So what you have is competition for the treated wastewater because industry, if you're doing microchips or computer chips or all of those sort of things, photovoltaics, you need very clean water in the process. So you actually get it now from your water supply directly as opposed to getting the water supply and then treating it. So this is a huge price break in the whole area.